Welcome everyone to the Average Angler's rather messy shed. Today we're going to talk about this product which I've purchased, which is the NUfish Bait Shelter. So it's a brolly to cover your bait on your side tray. As ever with me, I'm not sponsored by these people. I'm not doing it because they've asked me to. I'm not doing it because a tackle company or anything like that's asked me to. I'm doing it because I've bought one for me, and so that's the best opportunity to do a review. I bought it anyway, so let's do a review on it before we go into it. So I've got it set up. I've got some video of it set up outside on my box, and I can explain to you on that section what my old setup's like, what my new setup's like. We can go through all of that. But I thought while I've got it in here, we'll put it on the bench, and I'll just show you a close-up of the features, and then we'll flip to me having it outside on the grass, and you can see how I'm using it. Right everyone, hopefully you can see this. This is the widest angle I can create in my little shed setup here. This is how it comes in the bag. It says Bait Shelter on it. Those do come with it, but I've taken them out. I'm going to take this out of the bag now, but we're not unpackaging it. It comes, everything's in plastic bags and it's all tidily put together, but I've got rid of all of that stuff. So it's dead simple. Well, let me just talk about this first. Why have I picked it? As you can see, it's a nice thin slim shape, which means I can put it into the side pocket on my rod hold, or I still use traditional rod hold. If you've got if you're hard case, then you've got the age old problem of every time you purchase something, you've got to buy something to put it in, another box, which is why I don't buy them. So this is a perfect example of, I'll put this in the side pocket of my rod bag, and I can just forget about it until I need it. I'm not going to be using this every time I go fishing. It's going to be occasional use. On days when I know the weather's going to be bad all day, I'll get this out and we'll go with it. Somebody's alarm's going off. I don't know if you can hear that in the background, don't stress. So let's get it out. Put that out of the way for a second. Like I say, this is okay. This isn't a premium quality or anything, but it's a nice material. It's not going to let you down quickly. It's just thin. The whole thing is costing you about 50 quid, so you can't expect things like the bag that it comes in to be mega or anything. So you can see there's two main parts to it. You've got the arm and the brolly. So the arm obviously is what you need to connect it to your box and your brolly. Let's talk about the arm first. It comes like this. That's a 36mm hole, so that will go onto the 36mm legs. And then it's got these inserts, which are very similar to the sort of Preston inserts that have been around for years, but it looks like they've tried to slightly improve on them because they've put like a little clip on there. So when you push it in from the bottom, as it comes up, you'll hear it click. It doesn't want to come out then. That's a nice little touch. The three different colour coordinated. That takes you down to 30mm, which is what I use for my box. Then you've got a 20mm circle plus what looks like a 20mm or 19mm square. There's just little corner pieces in there for the square to go on, and then you've got the 23mm square, which I think is something that one of the old Preston boxes used to use. So that should cover you for most of the boxes on the market. Most boxes these days are either 30mm or 36mm anyway, but if you've got a bit of an old school boxes, these will cover you as well. So you've got all that. Well, I'll leave that one in because that's what I use. The hand wheel seems pretty straightforward. Bright yellow, probably because that's what whatever, I don't know why it's bright yellow, might make it easy to find. Doesn't really bother me. On the back you can see the thread, brass, metal, that's a fair old chunk of brass. That's not going to twist, that's not going to start twisting and come loose in there. Brass and steel pretty good together. They're not going to pick up on each other, so they'll be fine. That's all riveted on there. It's all good. At the other end, where you're going to put the brolly into, you've got different locations, so that depending on your setup, you might only need it here, there or there or there, and obviously that hand wheel will come out and you just put it into the location you want. There's no point having 4 hand wheels on there, is there? Because you're just paying for something you're not going to use. Nice little touch, which I did notice, so I'm just going to show you. It's only a little detail, but it's just these little details that some companies think about, some don't. It's got a rubber plastic end on, so when it's pressing against your shaft on your brolly, it's not going to take the powder coating off, painting or whatever it is. I think it's powder coating by the looks of it. It's just a nice little touch, and it'll also just allow you to grip into it a bit more because that'll compress better than the metal, so you can you ain't got to go mad. So that's that simple. Can't fault that. On my setup outside that you'll see In a minute, I'm using this one because I've got quite a big side tray. But I don't think there's many people got a side tray bigger than what I've got. I think they're about the biggest ones that are available these days, one of the old school ones, so it should cover most side trays. Then what you get with the Brolly, you get like a standard little bait Brolly, like a square sort of shape. But let's talk about material actually. So nice material, nice colour, it's not too garish. It feels really waxy, like it's got a coating on it, or like it's got some sort of, you know, waterproofing element to it, and it feels like it's going to be resilient and robust. So obviously I don't know that because I've not tested it in anger. It's got nice little finishes on it, you know, just finished it up tidy. Again, it's 50 quid item, so to have them sort of touches on it for the price is not a bad thing. It's a pretty much a standardish square, but on the sides it's got these side pieces so that when you put it on your tray, it can encapsulate your whole tray. I'm hoping that you can see that panel there, this one. That's like a triangular piece on the end of that, and then if you flip it over, there's another triangular piece on there, and then those two triangular pieces are joined together by this bungee cord, and you'll see how that works later. But basically, you just loop this around the back of your tray, and then you haven't got to start messing about with straps or anything, and it'll hold it in place all day. So it's really nice. That's a nice feature. Now, one of the other things that is massively important, certainly for my application, is, and I don't know if you can see this, I'm gonna have to get it right in there, but at the bottom of the shaft there's a thread, so you can unscrew the shaft. Hang on, let me a second, I'll put it up. So I've put that up now, and then hopefully move this flap out of the way. You can see that what you've got to do is unthread from here. So you unscrew that, because this black piece of the shaft unscrews, and then it goes in. You must have seen this on traditional Brollies in the past, but it goes into here at the base of the shaft, and it screws into another thread, which I'm hoping you can see, which is a 45 degrees angle, and allows you then to have the Brolly at that sort of angle. If you can see that, it's that sort of angle like that. You'll see it outside better. Let's just try and get the camera back somewhere where it's useful. That's very important for my setup. The shafts, everything, it's all pretty rigid and robust. It goes up quite tight. It's quite a tight to get it up, but that's good because that means there's plenty of tension. You don't, if it's soft, it just goes up easy. It's no good to you. What I'm probably going to do is store it away, because I'm never going to use it in the other configuration. I'm only ever going to use it in this configuration. Is I'll probably store this unscrewed, because otherwise I've got to unscrew it out. That's just one more thing to do, and then I'll just collapse it from this position, because it doesn't matter, it'll still go up with a bit of digging and poking. And so there we are, we've had a little overview of all the things. The bungee strap, as I mentioned, is adjustable. That's a little thing to think about. The main shaft is extendable, but also you can turn it around as a spike. So you can have the spiky end in the ground if you want, and have extra security, or you can use it in different scenario, but I think it's best to keep the spike in there so that when you're packing it away, you don't accidentally spike your Brolly and make a hole in it. They're all the main features. You know, it's a small hand wheel there, and it's a small hand wheel there. You know, but if someone's manufacturing something for 50 quid, they can't go out and start designing their own hand wheels and making things all super special. As I've said before, this is perfect for me. And you know, the alternative to this for me is to go out, buy a big side tray with one of them hoodies on, and like side tray hoodies, you spent 200 quid. You know, whereas I've got 50 quid for this, and it stacks, it goes away in my rod bag, and I never have to think about it. Whereas if I've got a side tray with a hoodie on, now I've got to deal with where am I going to put that, because I generally use traditional hold all with just a side pocket where you put your nets, and I normally just put my side trays in there. and then I'm away, I'm sorted, and now I've got this dirty great big thing that, because it's got a hoodie thing on it, packs down to this thick, and that's no good to me, because then I can't get it in with my keep nets, sorry, with my landing nets, etc. So I just think this just works fine for people like me that don't really want to have a shelter up, but will have one up every now and again. So what we'll do now then is we'll go outside. I'll show you the setup with it on the box and how quickly and how nicely it goes together, and you guys can make your own mind up about it. Right guys, I'll set you up in the back garden. You might get the odd bit of noise from neighbours doing DIY, but there's not much I can do about that. What you'll see there in front of you is my box with new side tray, which is this one under here, or not new, but the old style, which I've gone back to. And then on top is just sitting there, that's what I used to do. So I've got rid of those two, not got rid of them, so I've got them as you can see, but I'm not using them. Believe it or not, those two actually weigh more than this big one, because this big one, this old school one's aluminium. You can see it's an old Preston one, and the previous owner had it powder coated, and I just bought it off him because he's upgraded. So what you get with a NUfish shelter is you get your brolly. It's got a lot of side flaps on and some bungees. I'll show you how that works in a minute. Obviously that's extendable. It's got a hand wheel there, and you can just extend it out. But also, after you've put the brolly up, you've got the hand. Oops. So you put the brolly up, you can unscrew the main shaft. Maybe you can see that. I'm going to do some more close-ups of this in a bit. And then there's another thread in there that you just screw it into, so you get that 45 degrees, which for my setup is quite important. Okay. So that allows that to sit at like a 45 degree angle, which is ideal for what I want. Okay, I'm going to put that down for a second. Because the other thing that you get with it is an arm, so that you can, obviously you want to be able to hold that out underneath the back of your side trays. They've thought about this, because what they've done is, so you've got adapters for all different sizes, hopefully for your box needed, all different colours, and they've all got a nice clip on. They seem pretty good actually, I'll keep them. I've had a little play around with my setup, and what I found is the best thing for me to do is obviously you've got this big side tray and a little support arm. So I don't really want to put this arm on there as well, because they're kind of fighting one another. But what I found is if I come off my back leg, I can just put that, find it up a little bit, no, come off, yeah. Just put that down there. That roughly gets to about the middle of my tray, which is what I like, what I need. And then I'll set up my tray so it just slots on down. We're in. Tighten all that up if you want, but no need to for the need of the... Now what I didn't mention was there's a hole here, but this shaft's actually got 3 or 4 holes in it, so if you're not sticking out so far you can go closer, but I'm on the end hole because this is quite a big tray. And then all I've got to do is drop that into the hole. Tighten up the hand wheel. Now that is telescopic, if I wanted to lift it up, I could lift it up. But no need to. And now what the beauty with these bungees is they're connected to the 2 side flaps, there and there. You just put one to that side, and this side, put them underneath, and that's it. You've got your sides. Pull them as far forward as you want. It's very difficult to find anything on the market that will cover that big tray like that. But that's fantastic as far as I can see. And that will do me for the odd scenario that I can see myself needing to use it in. So if I do come across, if I'm going fishing for them, I think it's going to be a wet one today, a nasty one, I can just set up. It's not the fastest thing to set up, it's not as fast as the hoodies and all those sort of things that you can get. But it's a fraction of the price of a hoodie side tray. I picked up that side tray. Like 40 quid, for 50 quid, something like that I paid for the actual side tray. And I probably paid a little bit more for the cover because that was brand new. So for less than 100 quid I've got a setup that's absolutely perfect for almost all conditions. Obviously I feel like that's quite a big area if it's windy. Best thing to do if it's really that windy is avoid going out altogether, I think, but there we are. That's, some people can't do that. The camera's picking that up there, but It says there, the bait shield is an advancement in bait protection. Not sure about that, with the addition of a side panels that wrap around, which we've already talked about. Apparently the grey colour is to protect from heat and wet weather without blocking out the light, which is true. You know, so it's not going to create a dark spot. Not that I think that would be a problem outside anyway. It wraps around all sizes of trays using location straps. Those straps are adjustable, so if you're trying to do something that's a bit narrower than that, there are some toggles on those elastics so that they'll work for narrower trays and things. 100% waterproof, high pressure, heat welded seams, two-way pole position. I think that means that's the 45-degree thing. To be fair, if it wasn't for that 45-degree thing, this would be pointless for me, because having a brolly horizontal at the back of mine would mean 50% of the brolly would be just covering fresh air, which would be pointless. So having that 45 degrees is massive. And it says there, the grey aqualock cover allows the light in and bounces it around the inner canopy to illuminate the work area. I think there's a, you know, they've worked really hard to make that sound good, but there we are. Get online and check them out, see if there's other people got ways of using them for your setup, and I'll let you know how I get on with it. Gotta go.